Hello, people of YouTube. I'm Aiden Shea here today, and here I'll be talking about my Week 4 NFL picks. So, to start off with the picks, I've just gone down and listed all these games in the order they appeared on NFL.com. Unfortunately, I can't do the Thursday night football game pick this week because that game is already over, but here I go. I'm going to start off with the first game. Now this one is a little bit of an upset because I got the Dolphins beating the Patriots this week, 28-24. The reason I say that is because the Patriots have looked a little bit off this year, and the Dolphins are 3-0. Stopping a 3-0 team is going to be hard for the Patriots as of right now, just due to the fact that they really have not been able to get it going at all so far this season. Next, we got the Eagles and Titans. Got the Eagles winning 31-21. I don't think that the Titans are that good. They don't even have Marcus Mariota out there right now. I don't even know who is even starting for the Titans at QB this week. In fact, it might even get even worse than that. I don't think the Titans are good with Mariota. They made it to the playoffs last year, but they didn't really do anything when they got there. I think that the Eagles are just a much better team than the Titans. That's just facts. Next, we have the Falcons and Bengals. Now, in this particular situation, I think the Falcons are going to take the win. Matt Ryan threw 5 touchdowns last week. He'll probably continue to do that. The Falcons may be 1-2 right now, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad team. They're a good team that had a tough schedule at the beginning of the season, and the Bengals are a good team. But even though they are a good team, I don't necessarily know if they can keep up with the Falcons if they have to play in the track meet. The Bengals do have a good offense, but A.J. Green, I believe, is injured, and I don't know if the Bengals can win against a team that's as good as the Falcons in, say, a track meet kind of situation, which might be what this game turns into. Next, we have the Buccaneers versus the Bears. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been doing really well this season, and the Bears look pretty darn good themselves. The thing is, I just don't know if the Bears and Mitch Trubisky can keep up with the offense that the Buccaneers are going to be running. That's why I got the Buccaneers winning this game 41-30. Now, the Bucs score a lot of points per game, and the Bears have a decent defense. The Buccaneers don't have a good defense, but their offense is not very good, and they barely won last week against, I can't even remember who it was, but I believe the team they won against is 0-3. So, that's not good, and they barely won that game. So the next one we got going on here, we got ourselves the Lions and Cowboys, and both these teams have had their struggles this year. But I'm going to pick the Lions in this one. Maybe a little bit of a surprise to people that I would pick the Lions here. But the reason I would pick the Lions here is basically just because I don't think the Cowboys are that good. I look at the Lions and I'm like, they played the Jets. I don't think the Jets are that good. They lost to the Jets, then they won last week. Well, actually, I believe they did win one game. I think they did win last week, if memory serves me right. I forget who they played, though. But they played, the Lions have been kind of up and down. The Cowboys, however, they looked bad week 1. Then they won week 2. And then last week against the Seahawks, they just did not look good at all. And the fact that they even lost to the Seahawks, especially with the way the Seahawks have been playing in this season, and over the last few games the Seahawks have played in the season or last season, it was just a surprise to me that the Cowboys lost the game to the Seahawks without Zeke. With Zeke. That's the thing, is they have Zeke now, so there's no excuse. They don't have Dez Bryant, but that doesn't mean anything. You should still be able to win games even without guys like Dez Bryant on your team. Other teams do it all the time. I just don't understand why the Cowboys can't do this. Dak Prescott might not be as good as people think he is. I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to win you games without players around. For that reason, I think that the Lions take this game. I just don't think the Cowboys are in a good spot right now, and I think the Lions will be able to take advantage of that, and they're going to win. The Bills and Packers. Oh, I forgot to mention they're going to win 21-14. Bills and Packers. Packers are going to win this game. It's going to be closer than people think. I have the score at 24-21, and the only reason I have that score like that is because Aaron Rodgers is injured, and he has not been playing as well as he has in the past. But it's the Bills. They got lucky last week against the Vikings. The other two games they played the Ravens week 1, they played the Chargers week 2, and they played the Vikings week 3. They won against the Vikings, but the previous two games before that were bad. Aaron Rodgers, even a slightly not 100% Aaron Rodgers, might be able to pick apart that Bills defense, and I just don't know if the Bills offense, even though Josh Allen looks like he's got potential to be really good, I just don't know if they can truly keep up with the speed that the Packers might put on them. Especially after last week where the Packers are going to want to come back from that ugly loss they had to the Redskins. Next game is Texans and Colts. I'm just going to say it. Deshaun Watson is not what everybody thought he was going to be. Deshaun Watson might be RG3 2.0. He could be. The Texans are 0-3. J.J. Watt's still the best player on that team. Where's DeAndre Hopkins? I don't know. I don't know where he's been. The Texans are going to freaking lose, man. The Colts are going to win the game. Andrew Luck is back. The Colts are better than the Texans. The Texans might be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Again, I don't know how they keep doing it, but they keep doing it. Colts are going to win that game 28-17. Next game. This is by far the most imbalanced game of the week. Jets and Jags. The Jags are going to destroy the Jets. Sam Darnold looks like he has potential. The only problem I see with Sam Darnold is he throws interceptions all the time. Now, last week against the Browns won that game partly because of Sam Darnold's terrible interceptions at the end of the game. The Jets could have easily won that game. The Browns could have easily lost. That game could have gone either way. You're playing against the Browns, who, even though it is Baker Mayfield now, are still not, really realistically all that great. I gotta give this one to the Jags. The Jags looked terrible last week. They just did. But the Titans are the kryptonite. And I don't think the Titans are very good, but I do believe the Jags can bounce back against a pretty terrible Jets team. They're not, super bad, but they're going to need a lot more work if they actually want to get anywhere. And I got the Jags winning that one 41-17. 41-17. Cardinals Seahawks. This is the worst game this week. Seahawks won it, but the Cardinals are terrible. The Cardinals have a lot they need to figure out. And they're not going to be able to figure it out against the Seahawks team that's coming off of a win last week against Dallas. Dallas is, by the way, a much better team than the Cardinals are. And the Cowboys are still pretty bad. And we got to put that into perspective. The Cardinals are worse than the Cowboys. The Seahawks are going to look for their second win, and Russell Wilson is good enough to get them that. But I still think it's the worst game this week. The Seahawks win at 17-3. I don't think the Seahawks are very good, but we'll see. On the backside of the sheet, we got ourselves another kind of interesting game, but it's probably also going to be very low scoring. Browns and Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are very good. I think the Browns are okay. I don't think they're going to be super good. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they're okay. I think that we'll see the Browns being somewhere in the middle of the pack this year. They might go 8-8 potentially, and then maybe in a couple of years they'll be a playoff team. But I don't think they're going to be a playoff team this year. But I think the Raiders are really bad this year. Trading Khalil Mack was a bad idea. The Browns are going to win this game, 21-13. It's going to be a close game. I don't think the Browns are going to win it big or anything. I don't think the Raiders are realistically the worst team in the NFL, but I don't think they're anywhere close to the best. Chargers and 49ers. This one's easy. Chargers win. Jimmy G is injured, right? The 49ers without Jimmy G are a joke. The Chargers are that one team that everybody keeps saying is good, but they might not really be good. But I do think that they can win against the 49ers. The Niners really I don't see anything special coming from the Niners within the next few weeks specifically, or for the rest of the season, because Jimmy G tore his ACL. He's out for the whole season. He's gone. Chargers win that game 31-14. Saints and the Giants. Now, I'm going to give the Saints the win here, but I'm also going to make it a little bit, well, maybe not a little bit, probably a lot closer than a lot of people have expected. I'm going to go ahead and say the Saints win at 42-30. Drew Brees is the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. It's weird to say that about a guy who's consistently put in the top 5, but I think he's top 3, maybe even top 2 quarterback in the NFL. Drew Brees is. You just look at his stats. Statistically, Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks that ever played a game. He only has 1 ring though. If he were to get a second ring, people would start talking about him as one of the best to ever play the game. But that being said, the Saints defense is terrible. I still think they're going to give up 30 points to the Giants. The Saints defense, I believe, has given up 30 points to every single opponent that they've played this season. I don't think it's going to stop with the Giants. The Giants are not that great of a team, but Eli Manning is a good enough quarterback to get 30 points on that defense. But I still think that it's Drew Brees. It's this offense. It's the Saints. They're going to score at least 40 points on them. It's going to be 42-30. The Saints are going to win. Now, this is, to me, as a Ravens fan, the biggest game of the week. And to be honest, it's probably always going to be one of the biggest games of the week when it's Ravens-Steelers. Now, this might be a little bit biased, but I actually do have some legitimacy for actually picking the Ravens in this one. For the most part, I'm pretty much always going to pick the Ravens. There's just that. I always want to believe in my team. But I'm also going to look at it with a critical analysis, though. My analysis of this game is the Steelers are without Le'Veon Bell. Antonio Brown has not been playing as well as he usually does. And the Ravens are coming off a win, and the Steelers are coming off a win. This game is in Heinz Field. It's in Pittsburgh. I'm still going to give the Ravens the win, though. And the reason I'm still going to give the Ravens the win is because I think they're going to show up and they're going to be more focused than Pittsburgh is. Pittsburgh has the most penalties in the league right now. In fact, they have the second most penalties ever given up ever. I saw that on one of the sports shows that I watch on the internet. I believe it was The Herd. I was watching a segment from The Herd, and I saw that the Steelers have the second most penalties ever given up in the first 3 weeks of the season. And it's just going to keep going that way because we're seeing more roughing the passer penalties than we've ever seen before. So I think penalties are going to be a factor in this one. Penalties are always a factor in these games. It's AFC North football. We don't know which way it's really going to go, but I'm going to give my team the edge here. And I'm going to say they're going to win it by only 4 points. They're going to win it 24-20. And I think there's a lot of grounds to say that they could win the game. And I think they will win the game. Now this is the last game of the week. The last game of the week we got Kansas City Chiefs versus Denver Broncos. I'm going to give the Chiefs the win here. Patrick Mahomes is putting up historical numbers. He has the most touchdowns after week 3 ever. He's surpassed Peyton Manning in that group, okay? When you surpass Peyton Manning at something, that means you're good at it. As long as it's football. The Chiefs are probably the most unstoppable team in the league to me right now. In fact, besides maybe the Rams. I think the Chiefs and Rams are probably the best teams in the league right now. There's no doubt in my mind about that. The Eagles are pretty good too. I mean, there are a lot of other good teams out there, but like the Eagles, of course, defending Super Bowl champions, still having a good season this year. But if you look at the Eagles from this year, or from last year to this year, it's just not the same. They're not as dominant. I think the Chiefs go ahead. They win this 37-28. The Broncos might be vying for a playoff spot down the road. But I just don't see them being able to beat the Chiefs this week, especially with the way Patrick Mahomes is playing. Alright, so that's pretty much all I got. I think that a lot of these picks will be right, obviously. I hope they are all right, because that would be great. But I know some of them are going to be wrong. There are ones that I'm more confident about than others, and that's just the way it goes. I'm actually really confident about my Ravens pick. I'm always confident about my Ravens pick. I believe in my team. But that's it. Peace out. We'll see y'all later.